How about Walker Hayes, everybody? Yeah!
We got a motor.
We're taking to Daytona in February. All right, y'all ready?
Turn the radio on. There was country music I listened to.
Get ready for the finest in musical entertainment and racing on anything on wheels. Ladies and gentlemen, get in tune and start your engines because Music and Motors is now.
In the business world, somebody who's successful will tell you that nothing can ever happen until somebody sells something. Hello, I'm Wade Hayes, and on this week's episode of Music and Motors, we'll show you what it takes to get race car driver Brad Baker behind the wheel of the 37 car and the promoting of singer-songwriter Walker Hayes as these two young men work to make their dreams come true. Now, I went to the Baker Curb Racing facility to get an education from car owner Gary Baker and driver Brad Baker about the importance of sponsorship. Now, we'll get a close-up look at the Ford Fusion race cars and the true meaning of all those details.
A lot of paint, a lot of sweat has gone into this place, but we're thankful to have it. It's total square footage, we're about 75,000 square feet, and we're going to need every foot of it. We've got a little bit of excess capacity running 2 cars, but you know, our long-term goal obviously is to be running more than 2 nationwide cars. We'd like, realistically, we'd really love to be running 3 or 4 nationwide cars, and hopefully within the next year or 2, maybe a cup car or 3. So if that's the case, we'll outgrow this facility real quickly.
Brad Baker is the son of team owner Gary Baker. He has 37 NASCAR Nationwide Series starts and will drive the Ford Fusion Envirox 37 car that will race in the Nationwide and ARCA REMAX Series races.
My father is Gary Baker. He's been a very successful businessman, and not only in racing but also in other interests. But he was also a great father growing up. So I really look up to him in a lot of ways.
Every once in a while, maybe I might pass on 1 or 2 things that I finally figured out driving cars that maybe it took me 3 or 4 years to learn, and I figure maybe I can tell him this one little tendency that I finally figured out that 90% of drivers do. In all probability, back when I was 19 or 20, there probably was somebody that told me, and I don't remember because I didn't listen, which is probably about the same result I would get if I tried to tell him. I guess it was inevitable to grow up around racing the way he grew up around racing. He lived on the racetracks, both at Nashville and Bristol, back during my ownership tenure there. It was the kind of thing that, you know, anytime couldn't find Brad, hey, find out where the keys to the pace cars are. He's probably out on the track somewhere lapping one of the pace cars, you know, propped up so he can see out of the windshield.
I think back to some of the things that we did together in racing. I guess probably one of the most memorable was when I was racing go-karts. We spent a lot of time, just he and I, at the track, because I have 3 sisters, and those 3 and my mom were often out doing their own thing, so it was Dad and I at the racetrack on the weekends, and that was it. But we had a lot of fun doing that for several years.
We met our junior year in college. We had a class together, racquetball, our sophomore year, and then our senior year he started racing at the Nashville Nashville Speedway, the small track.
The family has to be behind you 100% in order to make the whole thing work. And having a family that's grown up in racing, it helps a great deal.
We both had an interest in racing. I grew up, my father is a Ford Lincoln Mercury dealer in Manchester, which was my grandfather's business. So my dad took it over. And so I grew up in a racing family of, you know, you go to church on Sunday and you have to get home and get the VCR set for the race.
Not only my family, but my wife's family were also big race fans growing up. So it's been great having her support all throughout my racing career. to help push me along.
Logan's Roadhouse was his sponsor, and so he did the Super Trucks, and then he moved up the next year to the late models.
And instead of being a negative, she's been a positive, so it's been great.
Wow, Baker Curb Racing. Man, this place is incredible.
Yeah, all these guys have put a lot of work into this place. They work on it every day, keeping it clean, but they put a couple months into getting the shop ready.
It's extremely clean. And one thing I was wanting to ask you about, what about all these stickers on here?
Well, a lot of these stickers are actually NASCAR sponsors, all the small ones that you see here in front of the number and in front of the front tires. These are all sponsors for NASCAR, but they also pay the race teams, and it's all across the board. Some will pay the top 10 finishers for the race, some will pay the pole winners, some will pay 1st, 5th, 10th, 15th finishers. So that's why you see all kinds of different numbers on the finish results as far as how much the car has earned.
Is there a typical number of sponsors per car, or does it vary?
It varies. You'd like to have one major primary sponsor that covers most of the car, and then some smaller secondary sponsors. But you know, teams have been creative in finding different ways to fully fund a team. Sometimes you'll have multiple primary sponsors, you know, a different one each week, or some primary sponsors that give it up for one race to one of your secondary sponsors, and so on. So it's getting more and more complicated, but teams have to find a way to get fully funded.
So all of these cars are a Ford car, but that will be your primary sponsor, and then you'll have a secondary sponsor?
Well, they are all Ford cars. Primary sponsor on this car is the Kleenex, and they use all of their brands, the Kimberly-Clark brands, like Cottonelle and Huggies and so on. So they put a different one of those on each week, and some of their grocery stores that they work with, they put on there on the car on different weeks. Come on, Wade, let me show you around.
Cool.
A good trivia question. Who was the very first primary sponsor on a Sprint Cup car in NASCAR racing, as far as country music artist is concerned? It was Waylon Jennings, the Flying W on the number 4 car at Talladega and Daytona. Waylon, that was one of those deals where Waylon had sponsored the car a couple of times at the Daytona 24-hour car. So we had the black and gold Flying W, at the time it was Corvette, entered in the 24-hour Daytona. And I remember as plain as day, we were just sitting in the office one day, and he said, well, we're going to do that race next year. And I said, wide open, if you want to, let's go. Well, what do you think of Gary? What about getting into that bigger race at Daytona 500? I said, well, yeah, Waylon, it could be done. He said, well, okay, let's go. So that was it.
Wade, here's one of our cars that's going to be racing the next couple weeks. This one, Kleenex and Kroger have teamed up to benefit one of our charities, and that's why you see all the children's handprints all over the car.
I was wondering about that. Another thing I was wondering about, why the stickers for the headlights and the grille?
Actually, everything you see on the outside of this car is regulated by NASCAR. The headlights, these are stickers, and all of this grille work here, they're all decals also. NASCAR has us put those on there to make the cars look right. There are differences in the body that distinguish this as being a Ford, but all these decals help the fans in the stands, you know, tell what kind of car it is.
That's incredible. I've always wondered why that was.
And the same thing goes for the taillights.
Yeah.
They're decals also.
She wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, but I'm telling you what, she could turn some heads.
He wants to play on the street. But he's going to tell you the story. It's a great story. I mean, he loves it.
Valley girl, yeah.
Hi, I'm Brad Baker.
And I'm Wade Hayes, and you're watching Music
and Motors. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Music and Motors. Singer-songwriter Walker Hayes literally takes his music to the streets as part of paying his dues in this highly competitive music business. Now we'll learn how he got started and about the support and inspiration from his wife, Lainey.
Picked up a guitar around high school because it was cool, and you know, girls love the guitar slingers, and which I'm not, but I try to be. And so yeah, just played a lot of sports, basketball, and I was a runner predominantly, and sang as much as I could. My dad was a music minister, so that was kind of what drew me to music in general. I married my high school sweetheart in '04.
We were in a play together, The Little Shop of Horrors, and I remember, I very well remember the first time that I kind of noticed him. We were in the music room practicing for the play, and he started singing his first solo, and I looked down the aisle and I was like, who is that? He can really sing. And that was the beginning of it.
While we were engaged, I asked Lainey, my wife, her father, if I could marry her. Of course, he drilled me with some excellent questions that I didn't have the right answers to, but I did. I was planning on selling real estate with my dad, and so that was good. That was a secure future for his daughter. And then one day, Lainey and my wife were just sitting around, and I don't know how it came up, said, hey, you want to go to Nashville?
We just sat down hanging out one Valentine's Day and started talking about moving to Nashville and just decided to do it.
I'll be a singer, you know. We knew absolutely nothing. She said, sure, why not? Why, you know, now, while we can do it. We found us an apartment, drove from our honeymoon to here with the U-Haul, unloaded it all, and really started just looking for jobs and started playing up at the Bluebird and stuff, trying to figure out what it's all about, what you got to have, what tools, you know, you got to, what craft you got to hone, you know, what everybody's looking for.
How I met Walker. There's a golfing buddy of mine. His name is Greg O'Brien, and his wife was in the industry, and I got to know him through her, and we played a lot of golf together for years and years. And he's a frustrated singer, guitar player somewhere in his past, I guess. Minor league baseball player, one of those guys, all-purpose. Well, I love him to death like a brother. And one day he says to me as we're playing golf, hey, I've got this guy I want you to listen to.
He was out here playing, and I mean, like he so often does, just sitting out here playing the guitar, kind of singing around, and our neighbor a couple doors down heard him and came down. Ends up that she was working at Universal, and just kind of got to know them and got to be good friends with them, and her husband is actually the one that introduced Walker to his now manager.
I'm like, 10 years, you haven't said you've got some guy you want me to listen to. What do you mean? I've got this guy, he's really talented, you ought to listen to him. I'm like, well, I'm intrigued because you haven't brought this up in 10 years. I said, where is he? He goes, he lives next door to me. I'm like, lives next door to you? Yeah, I saw him singing on his porch. And I know this guy well enough, how picky he is. He's a strange fella, in a lovable way. Now, how picky he is, it must be good, or he would have never brought it up. Plus, he can really sing really well, this guy. I said, well, okay, bring him by. That's what I do, you know. I sit here, and people bring people by, and I listen to them sing and stuff like that. And sure enough, they came walking in. We got some coffee. Walker started singing. I said, well, sing another one. Well, you wrote that? And I was just blown away with Walker. I got up and locked the door. You're not going anywhere. Don't anybody move.
He was coming up here to be a singer, and of course, I thought he had the voice and he had the talent and the look, and I knew he could do it, and I had faith in him, but it wasn't until we got here and we realized what the industry was really like that we sort of thought we were a little crazy.
He wants to play on the street. But he's going to tell you the story. It's a great story. I mean, he loves it. It really scares me. Downtown has always scared me. When I first moved to Nashville, it wasn't like it is now. Lower Broad was scary.
I finally get a record deal, dude. Record my own CD. 18 bucks. I wonder if they'll promote it. A lot of people do this? Oh, I know what you're talking about. Right next to the food thing. But you get a lot of people who do it at nights? Right on, man. That's awesome. Cool. Cool. Come on.
I mean, I would consider this as part of my story, you know, and it's a cool thing. I mean,
Look me up if you're ever on the West Coast, and that was all she wrote. Said like every like other like word, but it never like got like on my nerves, 'cause I was hanging on the West Coast curves all night long. She wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, but I'm telling you what, she could turn some heads. Lord knows I'll never forget getting my world rock Fountain Valley girl, yeah.
I mean, I can't wait for a big shot label exec, you know, who's used to saying, you know, do you do showcases at the Rutledge and all these nice places? And I can say, hey, I've played on the streets.
I don't know why you need me, oh, baby, I ain't worth a lick. No, I don't know how a guy like me winds up with a
You
girl
know,
like you.
I've had birds crap on my notebook. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, not everybody can say that now, you know? Not everybody's willing to do that. And, man, it's fun, you know, it's good times.
You're watching Walker Hayes right here on RFD TV.
Fountain Valley girl. Woo! Hey, Chrissy's not a big fan of playing on the streets. He thinks it's dangerous. But it's pretty cool. Look at all these loving people. How's it going? Nothing.
Tim McGraw worked for me, and Kenny Chesney worked for me. Of course, I fired Kenny.
Flash is Cat Daddy. I'm Cat Mama, but they're calling me Hot Dog Hottie at the moment.
When he went to work for me, he would work from 5 in the afternoon till 9. Well, they ain't but two kings, man, Elvis and Dale. But Dale Jr. is my cat daddy, man. I love my NASCAR, man. Love Dale. Love Dale Jr. My name is Flash Flanagan, and you're watching Music and Motors on RFD TV.
That was awesome. Did I get it right? You did it great, man. Good stuff.
Man, I watch Don Imus every morning.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Working towards a sponsorship and paying some dues is hopefully what it takes to achieve the ultimate payoff. And the work continues on.
So Kleenex has their Huggies brand on here this week. We also have the B Post here. We have associate sponsors like Carino's, and the United States Postal Service is one of our major associate sponsors. So we do a lot with them.
We have a two-car team currently, the 27 car and the 37 car, both of which run the nationwide series, of course, NASCAR. The 27 car, fully funded, primarily Kleenex, the Kimberly-Clark company. The 37 car has one primary sponsor now in the form of the U.S. Postal Service. But we're still looking for some more funding on the 37 car. We're hoping to get word by this afternoon that we're going to start the 47 car on the ARCA series as well.
This is my baby for Daytona. We're gonna get her ready to run the ARCA race there this February, and I'm hoping I'll get the chance to drive it. Of course, it's not looking good right now, but looking for a sponsor, and so I can get that phone call that says we are going.
It ran the ARCA series last year. I believe it finished, I'm not sure, but I think it was 5th in points. And we really have high expectations for that car if we get it on the ARCA circuit. That car is going to win Daytona, and that car is going to win a championship. That's just our expectation.
I spend most of my time focused on when is it going to happen? When is somebody going to cut my song? When is a label going to look at me and go, we can sell this product and put an album out? I mean, that's primarily my focus, I have to admit. I'm sad to admit. But if I take a step back and look where I am, who gets to get up, and write a song from 9 to 1, and that's their job?
You know, nobody gets to do that, and I get paid to do it right now. You know, thank God, and not, you know, there's a lot of people coming to Nashville who would do anything for a publishing deal. So, you know, to be honest with you, I'm a pretty lucky guy right now, but I do hope there's more in the future.
Now join us next week and we'll see how Brad and Walker continue with their quest in the world of music and motors. I'm Wade Hayes. We're glad you came along. We'll see you next week.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Well, tell me honestly, nobody really wants to be sponsored by Viagra, do they?
Not really, but I mean, every race team is willing to take any sponsor they can get, believe me.
I always felt sorry for that guy. I don't know why.